So you're thinking about moving to St. George, Utah, but you don't have any idea which neighborhood you want to pick, right? Should you live downtown or should you live far away? So maybe off in Virgin or something like that. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to get out the map, right? And we're going to talk about what do these different neighborhoods and different areas, because we're going to talk about all, Washington County, not just St. George, right? Because we're talking about the St. George metropolitan region. We're going to talk about what each different area can offer you. We're going to give you some things that you're really going to like about each area, as well as some things that you're going to hate.
Nope.
So you're going to be able to eliminate certain areas because you're going to think, okay, that's not for me. I don't like this because, it's not near any major grocery stores or it's too far away from downtown, whatever. Whatever your reasoning is, I don't know what it is, right?
We all have our reasons.
Yes. You do you. That's what, you do you. We're going to
libertarian in us.
Yes, we're going to give you the information that will allow you to do you. So that's what we're going to do right now. So stay tuned.
So what's up, everybody? I'm Sean Azad.
And I'm Courtney Azad, and we're with Keller Williams Realty right here in St. George, Utah. And if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know what it's like to live here, right? You want to know what is it like to live in St. George, especially if you're coming from the perspective of, people who have not been born and raised here.
Yes.
So we're going to give you, information. What's it like to move here? So what you want to do is you want to press subscribe, and then you want to press on the bell so that you're notified every time that we upload a new video, because we upload new videos every week.
Yeah, and if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking, okay, wow, Sean, I love St. George. I love the Red Rocks. I love the energy. I can't wait to move out there now. But the problem is I'm not in the area, so I don't know what to do. And I totally get that. That's why you want to reach out to me. That way we can have that conversation, figure out what you're looking for, what you're not looking for, and really help you and be your eyes and ears, your boots on the ground. So that way, what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back. So here we are. We are in Washington County. And the reason why we're giving you this giant piece of land is because when people talk about St. George, they're really talking about southern Utah, right? They're talking about
southwestern Utah. Really.
Yeah. And let's come back to Washington County and talk about some of the outer areas. But I'm sure most people that are here, they're probably going to be living in, more towards the center of St. George. This is southern Utah. Beautiful, beautiful area of the world, of the United States. Super hot in the summer, but honestly, that's one of its only drawbacks, in my opinion, is the heat in the summer. But other than that, it is just, wonderful little place.
And why would people like it here? So one, what's nice is that it's very convenient access, right? So when you're talking about Washington County, so when you're driving through here, what you'll notice like this little yellowish orangish line that runs through, that is actually the 15 freeway.
Yes.
What's nice is that 15 freeway, just about an hour and a half or so south, you're in Vegas.
Yeah, an hour and a half to get to Vegas proper, but to get to the real part of Vegas, about 2 hours.
Yeah, and that's where actually, and if you want to go to McCarran Airport or Harry Reid Airport, whatever you want to call it. So, and then a little farther south, and then you go south more, and then you're going to be about 6 hours away from LA.
Mm-hmm.
So from Southern California.
Yeah.
So it's nice. And then obviously about 5 hours to the north, and you're in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So it's super convenient from the perspective of it's just very easy access
to major metropolitan areas in the West Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're within driving distance of Salt Lake City, Las Vegas, and all of Southern California. It's easier than you'd think to be traveling to these different places within the Western United States, which is a big reason why people, choose this part of Utah. Because of its location.
And so basically what people really like, again, and so that's so people kind of look at northern, let's say Arizona as an option and that kind of stuff, like Sedona or whatever. And so in Flagstaff, the problem is that the convenience access, that this is where St. George really shines. Again, it's just so convenient. It's just so easy to get to.
Yeah.
And as we go in, and obviously you look at the natural terrain here and stuff, and of course you have Zion here, which is technically amazing.
Parts of Zion is technically part of Washington County. Zion, super beautiful, about 45 minutes from the city of St. George.
One of the great national parks in the country.
For sure. Super popular now. I mean, depending on when you go, it is quite crowded. And then, but you want to just talk about St. George first, and then we can talk about the outer regions because obviously most people are going to be living,
in St. George.
St. George.
St. George has the highest population.
Yeah, or close to St. George, like Santa Clara, Washington. Even Hurricane has a decent population. Ivins, very popular. So you want to just click on St. George first?
Let's do it.
Here we are.
So the Red Rocks.
Yes, the Red Rocks.
Through.
You want to, I guess we can start talking. Let's go. You want to go to downtown 00? So St. George has an interesting grid system.
It's not like they're the only ones.
Yeah, that's true. But it has a grid system where the addresses are a little strange. At least from where we are from, we're not used to it. So I think that the grid system, it starts right there, right? 00.
That one looks like 00.
Yeah, so that's 00. So this is downtown. Downtown, I love downtown St. George.
So this is Main Street and Tabernacle. So this is the intersection is the center of town. So let's zoom out so you can kind of see. Mm-hmm. So that children's
museum.
Well,
the children's museum pretty much downtown. Yeah.
So that kind of tells you where you are in St. George. So that's like the center. That's 00. And then actually a lot of the streets. Now you do have some residential streets that have your normal numbering system. We have your street number, street name, blah blah.
Yeah, like 20 Beautiful Bluff Lane or something like that. But then there
are others one. And in fact 20 Beautiful Bluff Lane is pretty ugly actually. But
Sean's joking. It's a made-up address.
But having said that, is that so what you will have are these interesting situations where it's 1650 west, 1590 south, and you're going, what does that mean?
And then your house is like a unit number, which is kind of weird.
Yeah, so that's so let's say 1650 west, 1590 south, number 312, and you're going, what is that? And that's actually the address of a house. Again, this is a made up address, but that's the idea. So it's something you kind of get used to. It's a little bit different. It actually makes a lot of sense.
It does.
It just doesn't have that flow to it that you're kind of used to.
And although one of the nice things about the grid system is that if you do take a wrong turn, because everything is like a grid, you pretty much there are no wrong turns. You just have to go maybe up one more block, come back down.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's pretty hard to get lost, I would say, in St. George.
Yes.
It's easy to take a wrong turn, hard to get lost. So you want to start downtown if you want to go towards the Children's Museum?
Yeah, since we're here.
So downtown is very beautiful.
This is where it's happening.
Yeah, well, and we say downtown. This is your typical small town Main Street.
Yeah, an old school Main Street.
Yeah, old school Main Street. So beautiful. There's lots of, it's becoming a quote real downtown with lots of restaurants, breweries,
banks, shops.
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Bars are opening up down there. Hotels, yes. The Advenir, if you want to click on that, I think they opened in 2020. Great year to open a hotel. But so that's, and you can if you click on the picture, you can just see how downtown is becoming a truly vibrant downtown. And then that red building right there, that's actually one of the breweries downtown.
Yes.
So downtown, it's changing. Whenever we post this video, 6 months later, there's going to be differences in what we've said because there's a lot changing down there as well. And downtown is popular for people like to live downtown. It's a popular area to buy a home. Definitely not new construction, though. Obviously, St. George
is known for new construction, but definitely not downtown for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who'll buy a home that's an older home, and then they'll just totally gut it. If you go downtown right now, you'll see homes that are being completely gutted. They keep the shell of the home because the shell is beautiful, but it's just totally redone.
Yes, and also what you have around downtown is so some of the major roads here are St. George, St. George Boulevard and that kind of thing. And so what's interesting too about the downtown area is that everything's about 15 minutes away from downtown. That's, so just you're where are you at? Oh, I'm blah blah blah. 15 minutes away. Or
literally anywhere you are. If you're in Snow Canyon State Park, 15 minutes from downtown. If you're somewhere off in Washington, where are you? 15 minutes from downtown. You're, at the airport. Where are you? 15 minutes from downtown.
It's kind of amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's very strange.
Yes.
But that is true. Everyone says everything in St. George is 15 minutes away. That actually is true.
Yes.
Depending on where you are. You're well, I'm here and I need to go here. 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. Just remember 15 minutes. Yeah. You're golden. You're good.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's downtown for you again. Really cool. And then you also again you have the St. George Children's Museum. So if you want a quick little thing to do, actually on New Year's it's pretty fun because they actually do a New Year's like ringing in the new year, right?
For kids.
Yeah, and of
at
course
like
it's not
1 p.m.
Yeah, not at 12 a.m. but 1 p.m. So
Yeah.
it's kind of a fun. And again, like the balloons drop and it's pretty fun. But like it's a fun place to kind of take the family if that's again what you're looking to do. And then as far as like as far as like and then also we can't talk about downtown really without talking about Utah Tech because that's really close by.
Yes, and it's this university is growing rapidly.
Formerly Dixie State.
They just changed the name. Growing rapidly because it is very reasonably priced. So people are starting to be like, hey, why don't I go to beautiful St. George and get a reasonably priced good education? Yeah, so if you're downtown, I can always spot college kids maybe because I'm like reminiscing of my college days. They just have this sort of like deer in headlights look, right? Or also they think they know everything. Speaking of myself at age 20.
We had it down. We had it handled.
Yes. But yes, that's I mean, St. George, in a lot of ways, it is a college town, right? It's so much is happening around Utah Tech, and it's growing greatly.
Yes.
And you'll meet a lot of people, if you come move here. I can't tell you how many people they went to what is now Utah Tech.
And stayed
here. Yeah, there's many Utah Tech alumni that are still living in St. George.
Yeah, and if you're not quite ready for a university, you also have Dixie Technical College too.
Yeah, Dixie Tech.
Yes.
Which is obviously
so not too far away from each other.
Yes, they're very close. I mean, they're basically both downtown, right? Except Dixie Tech is kind of on like
on
a
the
bluff.
bluffs. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a popular junior college for technical, things.
Yeah, and I would say the distance between these two is not 15 minutes, but more like 5.
Yeah,
it's
for
like
sure.
Really close to each other.
Yeah, yeah.
And then as you can see, obviously you have the 15 freeway running right through the center of town here.
So if the story is a river runs through it in a certain famous movie with Brad Pitt, the story of
the 15 freeway runs through it.
Yeah, the 15 freeway runs through it. That is the story of St. George, Utah.
Yeah, so as we're kind of leaving downtown, right? I think we're gonna move out. And again, you have some parks and stuff, which is really cool. Actually, they do have
the farmers market.
Yes, that's what I was going to bring up.
Yeah, the farmers market's there. They're
right
really
here, right?
Yeah. It kind of died during COVID, and it kind of like got canceled for a while. But
it got the vaccine, and now it's alive again.
Oh no! But anyways, yes. COVID jokes aside, but anyways, yeah. So the the farmers market, they're definitely working to make it bigger and better. And we go out there all the time. So
yeah, and also we remember not talking about Sakura Sushi.
Oh yeah, Sakura
or Japanese steakhouse.
Yeah, Japanese steakhouse and sushi. I actually do enjoy their sushi. I mean, St. George definitely in terms of
it's come a long way.
It's come a long way in terms of its dining options. I mean, it's not a big city, right? So I would say it packs a punch above its weight class. But definitely, like if you want true fine dining, you got to go to Vegas. I mean, let's be real. But Sakura is nice, but it's very crowded.
Think of Benihana's.
Yeah,
it's like a hibachi steakhouse kind of thing. So they do the whole preparation. And again, we've been to many a Benihana. Yeah. And this was a very, this is kind of very familiar.
I would say it's like just
solid.
Just as good as Benihana.
Yeah.
But it's very crowded, very popular. You can get reservations Monday through Thursday. But if you're going like Friday through Sunday, you're kind of you gotta wait.
Yeah, just be prepared.
Okay, and then another thing that's right downtown, Nielsen's frozen custard, very famous because it is so good.
Yes, frozen custard is a thing here.
Yeah,
and what a thing, because it's honestly very, very tasty. Oh man! Now it's not a good thing for my waistline, but it's a good thing for my taste buds.
I follow this woman on Instagram, St. George Eats, and she's always talking about new restaurants that are opening. So yeah, I mean, St. George is changing. It's not a big city, so again, if you're coming to move here for the culinary delights, like you're moving to the wrong place. That's not why people move here. But it's not to say that there aren't options, there aren't good restaurants. It's just it's a population of 200,000. So, I mean, you're not going to be getting what you find in Vegas.
But we are the fastest growing metro population in the world. Oh, no, in the country.
In the country. Yeah.
But yes, in
the
country.
Okay.
That'd be very impressive. So right across the 15 freeway you have also St. George Regional Hospital.
Yes, it's
Really good hospital.
very highly ranked on many different lists. I know that it's known for doing very good work. So yeah, actually, I know that niche.com ranked St. George and Ivins, two of the best places to retire in Utah. And part of, what they look at is, does it have good medical care? And medical care here is very, very good. So
yeah, and then again, it looks like, it kind of almost looks out of place because it is such a refined, nice hospital, like, for, again, this population.
Yeah.
But it's pretty awesome. And again, and it's not just looks, it's more than skin deep either, also because their doctors are fantastic. From everything I hear, again, it's kind of just one of those more surprising things. They recruit fantastic doctors.
Yeah, well, because the best doctors, they want to pick where they live, right? And St. George is such a nice place to live. They're able to recruit.
Yes.
Very good doctors.
Yes. So and this is along River Road, which this is a very large. This is an artery where you get tons of shopping. Like this is one of those, a
large shopping corridor.
Yes, so you have your Targets, your Lowe's, your Home Depot. So it kind of runs all the way through. And actually, the Home Depot is closer to more Washington, but you have
and you have In-N-Out.
You gotta have it. Shout out
every
to
time
In-N-Out.
we drive by there, my kids are like, "Can we get In-N-Out? Can we get In-N-Out?"
So you have your Costco right here, that was. Okay, for me to move anywhere, a prerequisite, it has to have a Costco. Like, if it's good enough for Costco, it's good enough for me, basically. So, but like what you have here is a ton. You have like your Best Buys, you got your tons of restaurants. You have the Red Cliffs Mall, which is pretty cool too. So it's an indoor mall. It's not huge.
I was just there for Barnes and Noble.
Oh, nice.
Yes,
there you go.
Because I read a lot.
Yeah, there you go. Like so you have Red Cliffs Mall, and they have like H&M, and they have like a Dillard's, and they have a bunch of shops in there. And also what you have along here is just, again, ton of dining options.
Tons of dining, shopping.
Grocery stores.
You
have Harmon's that's here too.
Yeah.
Which Harmon's is like a natural grocer. Or I think all the neighborhood grocers.
I would actually compare it to, it's kind of like because we don't have Whole Foods here. And I would say that it's not Whole Foods, but I would say it's really high quality food. I mean, we like their sourdough bread there. Because it's actually fantastic. Yeah, and they don't label it as organic, but if you look at the ingredients, it's all organic. There might be like salt in there that's not organic, which is why they legally can't label it as organic. But it's a really good grocery store. We really love Harmon's. Yes, and actually, it's interesting. And then since we're like in this area, right? Like talking about a dinosaur discovery site. Oh yeah, because St. George, it's known for lots of dinosaur bones. There's lots of hikes and things you can do related to dinosaurs, and this actually is a legit dinosaur site. Like there's there are paleontologists actually like unearthing there's scientists who are working here. These are real fossils that they found, and then they sort of like built a museum over it to continually fund the dig, basically. Yeah, I wonder if they even show it's funny, like you see a glass with it almost looks like it's a prop, like where it's like a museum thing where people are actually working on dusting off the the sediment and all that other stuff. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, and depending, because Sean's best friend has lived here for 20 years, and he knows some good dinosaur sites that we can't tell you about because he would literally be really mad at us. But if you know some locals that know some good dinosaur sites, you can see a guy who knows a guy.
You know someone like that?
Let's just say I know a guy who knows a guy.
Yeah, you can see some really cool dinosaur prints and just stuff like that. So yes. So yeah. So again, so River Road, your main shopping one of the main shopping corridors. You actually do have another one too, on the other side of the 15 freeway. There's so many different little neighborhoods. You'd be like, where do you live? I live in Hidden Valley. Where do you live? I live in Green Valley. Where do you live? I live in Bloomington. I live in Bloomington Hills. These are very small neighborhoods, but they all definitely have their own little flavor for sure. Yeah, and they're these associations. In general, if you're in a house, relatively small, low association dues as well. So it's not like you're having these super high association dues. Now, I will say like Bloomington, this is more of an established area. Yeah, for sure. So I really like Bloomington a lot, actually. But it is older homes. More it's built in the 80s and that kind of thing. Which is very unlike what you typically get in St. George. Yeah, in St. George, you're finding a lot of things post 2000, basically. Yeah, or Hidden Valley, you go there right now, there's homes being built as we speak. Yes. Yeah, and then Bloomington Hills, that's another popular. That one is a little bit older as well.
Yes, Bloomington Hills and Bloomington
Yeah,
are both like, again, stuff that's built in the 80s.
Yeah.
Again, not to say that's all built in the 80s, but like you can kind of see any, and so you get some more, you get a little bit more land, possibly, and the houses are dated. I mean, unless they've been renovated and that kind of thing.
But there's so many like so pretty ones.
And then so you have to talk about Hidden Valley, then you have also Little Valley.
Yeah, Little Valley. Oh, I love Little Valley. It is so. I mean, there's a lot of new construction out there too, and I love the architecture that they've chosen for their homes. And others, Little Valley, the fields at Little Valley, very popular for baseball, soccer. I mean, there's so many like sports leagues and stuff in.
If you're coming to Washington County, you're doing a lot of sports.
Whether you are in the early part of your life or the late part of life, because there's a very active senior community here that is like all into all the like pickleball courts that we have here. I mean, there's just so much activity going on here. No matter what age you are, whether you are a baby or you are 100 years old.
Well, and also, and this is the way you do it too, right? So obviously what we have in this area, obviously it gets hot in the summer, like super hot sometimes, like 110 degrees.
Well, like today is 110.
Yeah. So summer is not cool. Now, what you do to work around it is that you do your activity in the morning. We know people that actually do their pickleball stuff and they wake up at pretty much like 5 o'clock in the morning to get their pickleball stuff out of the way.
And they can play for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
From like 6 to 9.
Yeah, it really doesn't start to really heat up until about noon. Yeah. So the mornings are actually, even on like these terribly hot days, are actually rather pleasant.
Yeah, they are.
But it lingers. So so it's not gonna so you think, okay, noon it's the worst, and then it kind of drops off.
It gets worse.
It just goes and goes and goes.
But and then when the sun starts to go down, like the temperature doesn't go down, but it doesn't feel as horrific.
I think it's your mind playing tricks on you, though.
No, it actually is true, because we'll go to our neighbor's house and like have the kids go swimming over there, and when the sun is going down, it's actually quite nice.
Yeah, and then also, and that's the summer, right? I mean, obviously the rest of the year is fantastic. Year-round weather to be going outdoors and all of this stuff. It's just that obviously be prepared that the summers are hot.
Yeah.
It is a dry heat, so if it's 110 degrees, it's not like 110 feels like 130. It's 110, it feels like 110. And again, as long as you have your mind right, that's the thing. Like, once your mind's right, you can kind of deal with it. It's just that if you're going in there and expecting it to be,
like, if you're living
72.
If you're living, I don't know, what's a cooler place? Like, Northern California is, famous for having very, very mild summers. Like, that is not what it is here.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to maybe show...
Oh, and then actually we should talk about the regional airport, too.
Oh, yeah, so the regional airport... We've actually never flown out of here. It's
kind of expensive and kind of limited too.
Kind of limited, kind of expensive, but it is a good, it's a good option if there's an emergency. So, and it's supposed to be like really nice airport, but
it's just
super small.
Yeah, it's just so limited that the pricing is that it's kind of like worth the 2-hour drive to go
to Vegas,
to McCarran Airport in Vegas just to get your flight, and plus you just have more options because I think there's literally 4 like commercial flights that are departing. Yeah,
like we're gonna go to London in December, and we're just gonna go to Vegas, and
we're not gonna go out of St. George.
There's actually a direct flight from Vegas. So
I was going to say from St. George. I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive.
No.
And then along this whole southern part here, this is actually pretty new development that's happening right here.
Yeah, that's true.
So along southern part,
tons of new construction down there, and they're also building a technical high school down there as well.
Yes.
Not only is there new, because, in a lot of the places in the sort of the outer regions of the St. George region, they're not adding as much of the infrastructure, but here they are. They're adding a lot of like grocery stores. They're adding a new high school. So this is definitely, it's almost like another city that they're building down here.
Yeah, and it's funny, what you'll see here is that you'll see little sprouts of development taking place. And you just like look forward a decade or two and you're going, that's all going to be connected somehow, some way. So it's just one of those things where just be aware of it. And again, I guess should we also bring up, like, as far as if you are making a drive, there are some bottlenecks.
Oh, yeah. Place. Well, that's but yeah. So depending, it's so weird because there's always construction going on in like kind of near Mesquite because there's these bridges down there. And it's so weird because we actually had to fly out of Vegas recently, and then we drove back and we're like, oh God, the traffic is going to be horrific. And it was totally fine. There was no traffic. But then other times it is nightmare because there's always, quote, needed construction, and then they funnel you down into one lane.
Yes, so it can be a little bit tricky. So you just
Yeah.
gotta just look at your Google Maps and see what's happening as far as what the latest is. Because
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
If you
be aware of
time it right, but
It's
it's
totally fine.
it's weird how because
Sometimes
one time
it can be.
yeah, we were just in Vegas just for fun, and then we drove back on a Sunday, and it was horrific. And then the last time we were in Vegas, because we had to fly out of Vegas, we drove back on a Sunday, and there was literally no traffic. And I was like, "What is the difference?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Don't ask me. If you know, please contact below, because I'm still
Yeah,
trying.
we'd love to have more tips.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure this out ourselves. But yeah, so in this area in general, lots of new construction happening
Yes.
here. And then basically, I guess if we're still staying in St. George, we probably should just move over to the other side. Because so we did allude to Bloomington, Bloomington proper. Yeah, Bloomington.
Not Bloomington Hills, Bloomington.
Yes, and the Virgin River runs right near it and stuff. And so
there is a river that runs through it.
There's a river.
But it's more like a creek.
Well, I guess it depends on where. Like the
That's
river in
true.
some spots, and depending on the how much rain is coming.
Yeah, so it's been quite monsoony this summer, so there's been quite a bit of water.
Yeah, and that's another thing. So we do have a monsoon season,
Mhm.
and again, so that's where you just get some thunderstorms and stuff going on, and
Yeah,
the rain can kind of come pretty hard, but
Mhm.
it kind of dissipates.
yeah, for sure.
And then on this side of it, okay, so basically, so Bloomington, and again, another thing on those, lots of golf courses sprinkled all throughout,
Yeah,
like Washington County.
yeah,
Tons of
and
them.
then since we are talking about water is always an issue in St. George, and I would say that the golf courses maybe get a little bit
Have a bad rap.
a bad rap, but they typically use reclaimed water that can't be used, and they're they have pretty strict rules about the water use and all that stuff, so they're not as wasteful as maybe some people would like you to believe. So.
Yes. So let's go back. Okay, so basically, and as you go up, like let's say, I guess we go north, right? As far as an idea.
Mhm.
So
There's a lot of new construction up here as well.
yeah, you get a little mix, but yeah, you definitely have a decent amount of new construction and stuff like that happening here for
Mhm.
sure.
And then do you want to go up into here, zoom out? We can just see where we are.
San
So, oh yeah. Well, you want to go up. So you're getting sort of like in the outer edges of St. George, you get a lot of new construction. And then you get into Santa Clara, which is its own city, quite a small city. You want to click on it? There's some beautiful views out there of, the red.
So 6,000 people.
Yeah, it's
As of 2010, which should be up, I'm sure, by a decent amount in the last decade.
yeah,
Sure.
that's true. And there is some new construction out by the river out here, the Santa Clara River.
Yeah.
And it's quite beautiful. And there's some
Like
quite
tree-lined streets
Yeah.
and stuff. It's very pretty.
very large estates as well. But it's a small city. I mean, there's not usually much inventory there. And then you want to go back more, and we can show.
Okay, go ahead.
We can show like Ivins. So Ivins is very popular right now because of so much of the new construction that's going on there. They also have some very popular
Subdivisions?
subdivisions. For example, Kayenta is. Can we find Kayenta? Where is it?
It should be, I think it's like close to where that thing is.
Yeah, so Kayenta, it is
Yeah.
so stunning. I mean, and you get a view of the Red Mountain. It's called the Red Mountain, and it's so stunning. And there's not only is it its own subdivision, but
These rocks are crazy. And see, if you look really closely, you'll see there's a house here, there's a house there. They do a great job of blending with the landscape.
Yeah.
And they have very strict rules
They
here.
do,
so
yeah.
so this is again, it's not for everybody.
Yeah,
because
for
there's
sure.
super strict rules. I think you can only develop on 30% of your land. So you're giving some people are getting about an acre of land.
Or more, right?
Or possibly
Some people have
more,
like 4 acres, right?
Yeah, so and you're not supposed to develop. You're only supposed to build on, let's say, or develop period on no more than 30% of it. And the whole idea is they don't want light pollution. They want to kind of keep things pretty low to the ground, and and so it's single story. You're not obstructing the view. And honestly, this is not doing justice how beautiful this view is. Like it is. this Red Mountain is unbelievable.
Well, it's actually, people call it Red Mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Sean's right. I mean, it's not for everybody. Actually, so Sean's best friend, his dad had a place here and he sold it because he thought it was too restrictive, the rules in terms of, because their goal is to keep it as close to natural as it can be. So they even have rules about like how your dirt can be and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's very like how you park your cars. Like
Yeah.
it's again, it's very restrictive, but the payoff is like, and this is the thing. Some of these houses like have an absolute incredible view of the Red Mountain where again, I come from Southern California, obviously we both do. And it's one of those things where I would actually strongly I would take that view over an ocean view, which is kind of crazy because I would never imagine myself ever saying that. But these views are just so breathtaking that it was kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, and they also have, within Kayenta, they have like a little art community where they have several galleries, and then they have
like amphitheater and that kind of stuff.
And then they have a little art show that happens like in October, where all these artists come. So and food trucks, wine, all that kind of stuff. So it's a cool little community. But Ivins itself,
and actually, and also they're developing on Ivins
Ivins itself has a lot of new construction. They obviously the Black Desert Resort is a resort and golf course that they're developing right now.
Yeah, it should be open pretty much any day.
Yeah, the thing about Ivins though is that definitely you don't have. So from Kayenta to Santa Clara, where you would do most of your shopping, is
8 minutes,
Yeah,
6 to 8 minutes.
It's about 8 minutes. But if let's say you want to be able to walk to like an elementary school or something, you probably can't do that. I think the closest elementary school is like 10
it's kind of close to where
minutes.
that Harmon's is actually.
Yeah,
so
it's like
close.
10 minutes. So yeah, and then the Ledges of St. George over here. So this is St. George, but it's similar.
About 15 minutes from downtown.
Yeah, so there's a lot of development going on up here. But again, there's no grocery stores up there. So the infrastructure is not being built along with it. So it depends on if you care, if you have to drive 10 minutes to the grocery store or 10 minutes to an elementary school. Some people don't care. Some people do care. So it's really up to you.
Exactly. And then so you have like a lot of, and then you have Entrada, like that's
Entrada
a very
is so
upscale
nice.
area. So if you're so like if you're looking for a more ritzy area, Entrada is actually a really nice spot.
Yeah, Entrada is very like pricey.
The beautiful views and all. I mean, again, it's just for people. Again, everything's a little bit different.
Yeah.
And then you have Snow Canyon State Park here.
Oh yeah, Snow Canyon State Park. I heard somebody describe it as the land that time left behind because it does look very prehistoric. And it's weird too because you're literally 15 minutes from downtown St. George, but you feel a world away. I mean, it's kind of bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah, so. But yeah, then do you want to talk about Washington next?
Let's see. Well, okay, let's see where we are. I guess we do Washington. That's fine.
So click on Washington.
So Washington also, it goes on both sides of the 15 freeway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's smaller than St. George. St. George is like close to approaching 90,000 people. Washington is more like 25 to 30, I think, maybe somewhere on there.
Yeah, but I would say Washington is very popular. Lots of new construction. I love the Washington Fields area.
Yeah, and that's pretty new construction.
Yeah, that's pretty new construction.
Yeah, so Washington Fields is like this whole
that whole area. I love the how they've developed the homes out there, the architecture.
Yeah, like the newest stuff is really nice. I mean, you can see why people like it.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, the flow is obviously as we progress and advance, like obviously the flow of these newer houses are pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing I like about Washington too, the reason they call it Washington Fields, there are a lot of farm fields out there or fields that have like cows and horses.
For now,
exactly. Yeah, and that's the Healy family farm. You want to zoom in. So that's a fun place you can go for to do stuff for fall, right? Fall stuff. They do like little fall events and stuff. But
do they have a pumpkin patch?
I think they do. So then another part of Washington, you see Sean just clicked on Coral Canyon, but then there's also Green Springs. And then Coral Canyon has a lot of new construction going on as well. And some parts of it, there's one little development called The Views. And you can actually see parts of like Hurricane. You can see parts of even Zion, like kind of in the distance. So this is another And it's weird, though, you think that you're kind of far away, but again, you're like 15 minutes from downtown St. George.
Again, this 15-minute thing is
Yeah.
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And we will say that throughout this whole area, there are so you think, okay, I'm in a red state, I can do with my property what I want. Yeah, no, that's not necessarily the case, because you also do have situations where there is restrictions on, like, let's say nightly rentals or that kind of thing. So
like
basically,
vacation rentals.
Yeah, so basically there are some areas that are designated for it, but then the vast majority of it is not.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so as we're heading to the reservoirs, right? Basically, we're
heading towards Hurricane.
So we're heading. Hurricane is right here. So it's the next town over from Washington.
Yes. And it's a decent amount. Okay, so the reservoirs.
So Hurricane's right there.
Yeah, and the reservoirs are really nice. Like, I actually like Quail Creek. Sand Hollow is more popular, and I would argue probably more beautiful, because you definitely get like the contrast of the blue and the red rocks. Quail Creek, I actually prefer myself, just because it's less crowded, and also Sand Hollow. That's where the Ironman takes place. Ironman, big deal around these parts.
Yeah, and in the spring, it's going to be cold.
Yeah, the water is freezing in the spring. Like, when the Ironman takes place, the water is cold. Like, they're wearing wetsuits. But then obviously when it's, baking hot summers, it's really nice, actually. And so Quail Creek, which is just across the way, I actually prefer this.
Yeah, it's not as busy.
It's not as busy.
And it's not as big, right? So
yeah, and it also doesn't have swimmer's itch.
There's that.
Because swimmer's itch, it comes from these snails. It's like these, I don't know exactly what happens, but some people it doesn't affect. It depends on your reaction. So
Quail Creek doesn't probably have much of that.
Yeah, it because it's a little bit more acidic, so the snails don't live in it. So yeah.
So you have water sports here. You have like paddle boarding. They actually have these platforms where you could do like the Tarzan jumps and like trampoline jumps into the water. It's pretty cool. And then obviously
it's really nice on like a super hot day.
Yes, it is. It is.
It's fantastic. It's like the perfect water temperature when it's really hot, and you just feel so refreshed. I would say is the word.
That is a good word. Yes, and then also we'll find them in this area though, because again we mentioned before, there's not a ton of like vacation rental type properties. So this area you tend to see a higher amount of like properties that are zoned for vacation rentals.
Yeah.
So not all of Washington County has it. In fact, the vast majority does not. But in this area you tend to see like some. Yes.
And then so we're going out to Hurricane. Hurricane is obviously much smaller.
It's about similar size as Washington actually.
Well, see, Washington is right next to St. George, though, so it's much more like you feel.
It's all kind of like combined as one big.
Yeah,
city,
whereas like there's a large area in between Washington and Hurricane. That's there's nothing there, so you feel more isolated. I would say, even though in reality, it's really not that far away.
Honestly, it's not far away.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's not that far away.
Yeah, it's like to get here. It's probably not quite 15 minutes.
No,
it's probably about like 20, 25.
25, yeah.
So,
it's not too bad. But it is like you do feel like you're definitely in a much smaller town in Hurricane. And there's a ton of new construction going on there too. And a lot of, new stores are going up around there. There's just a ton of building out in Hurricane.
Yeah, there was talk before that Hurricane was going to, like, this is years ago, right? That it was going to be the actual big city of this area. It was going to just blow up with all this new construction. And that, again, like,
this was like pre-2008.
Yes,
right?
This pre-financial crisis. Yeah. And obviously, so you have a couple of things. One, financial crisis hit, which stalled a lot of things. But also on top of that, of course, water is a thing that, kind of has restrictions on how much you can build. And now we're getting closer and closer to Zion. So basically, another really popular place, this is, the Virgin's right next to it, right? So that's another city that's getting you closer.
Yeah.
And then also Virgin as well.
Yeah. I wouldn't say it's like really popular.
No.
People do live out here.
Yeah.
You do have the opportunity.
About 4,000 according to 2010.
Yeah. So you do have the opportunity for like more land out here. Like Sean's best friend actually lives out in Virgin. Oh, this is Laverkin though. But similar. Sean's best friend actually lives out in Virgin, and it's so beautiful where he lives, and he has a lot of land. It's just a big plot of land by the river. by the Virgin River.
Yeah. We always have a Virgin River reference here.
Yeah, for sure.
As opposed to Clear River.
We're making a reference to Virgin River, the Netflix series. So and obviously, people go tubing out here on the Virgin River. That's quite popular. And depending on, we had a lot of rain actually this year with a lot of monsoons, and so the river is pretty roaring right now. Whereas sometimes when it's a little lower, you're just like hitting the rocks and it's kind of hurting your butt, basically.
Yeah. Yes, and also when the rain does come, you also will stir up that soil a little bit, so the river would turn more like red, kind of almost almost clay, almost kind of.
Yeah.
Again, not that consistency, but just has that clay look to it.
Yeah.
And then, but then obviously, you certainly have this beautiful rushing water. But again, that's Virgin's really awesome. I would say again, you're getting. A good 30 minutes from, 30 minutes from St. George, 45 minutes
30,
at times.
Yeah, 30, depending on where you are. Yeah. And then you're just super close to Zion, right? Springdale's kind of like the last town, really, that you get till you get to...
Actually, you're in Zion. You're in Zion.
Oh, it is? That's actually technically Zion? I think that's like a town.
Well, I mean, you're already within Zion, if you're in Springdale. So it goes to get...
Yeah, but people will go and, there's a couple hotels there.
Well, I guess technically not. I guess the way, I mean, you think, you're driving...
I don't think it's part of the national park.
It's almost, surrounded by Zion.
So there's, a couple hotels there that people stay if they want to,
Not a high population. There's only 529 people.
Yeah.
From 2010 census. So not a highly populated area, to say the least.
Small. But yeah, there's a few lodges out here, and obviously, I mean, it's if you want to go to Zion and stay longer. But
Springdale's where you go.
Yes. But that's pretty much the tour of St. George. I don't know if you want to...
Washington County.
I would say Washington County, a few just little tidbits. We didn't really talk about
Enterprise.
Yeah, so Enterprise.
Or Pine Valley, that's true.
Yeah, we didn't... So Enterprise...
Or Vail.
Yeah, so just show where these are. So, these are small towns,
So
Enterprise, that's farms.
Vail. So Vail's pretty cool because they have that crawfishing and stuff, which is cool.
Yeah, so
and they have this natural spring pool and stuff like that.
And Pine Valley, that is, people like to go up there when it's really, really hot. It's really easy to get to, only 45 minutes from city center.
Yeah, and you're about 7,000 feet in elevation. And Pine Mountain itself peaks out about 10,000 feet.
Yeah, and it's pine trees, a totally different flora and fauna than what you're seeing in St. George.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, but it's not many people live up there. People do have second homes up there?
And not small homes.
Yeah, beautiful cabins.
And honestly, some of these homes, they have these really high, windows and stuff that you're just looking at the surrounding peaks. And it is absolutely beautiful. Some of the views these homes have.
Yeah, and they have a reservoir out there that's very beautiful. And Enterprise. Again, the woman that I buy my chicken from in the farmer's market, she's from Enterprise. She drives down every
does she?
Saturday. Yeah, from But yeah, these are obviously very, very small towns, but beautiful, lots of open space. And
here's Pine Valley Reservoir.
So you can see the reservoir. So see how pretty it is. Oh, look at how pretty that is. And when it is blazing hot down in St. George, it is so nice to come up here.
Which we have taken relief ourselves. It's nice. It's
and there's lots of cows. Show the cows.
Yeah, these cows are just chilling.
Yeah, there's lots of little cows. Oh, and there's a little doggy. There's a doggy. So yeah, and people go fishing, but you can't swim in it. But yeah, so and people go up there to see the snow because obviously in St. George you don't really get snow.
You get a little dusting.
You get dusting sometimes. And then I guess, every 20, 30 years they will have a crazy snow, or actually we have more snow than they do in Salt Lake City, but obviously this is extremely rare. This is not a
regular thing.
No, this is a freak weather event.
Yes.
But yes, that is pretty much your tour
of Washington County.
So that's it. That's our video.
And remember, we are licensed realtors in the state of Utah. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So if you're looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is you want to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email.
Or you can reach out to us via WhatsApp. However you want to get a hold of us, we've got your back.